On Tuesday, May 20 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for the live sectoral presentation by the Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, the Honourable Daryl. Also, you can view the presentation on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. So tune in to Nationwide 90 FM on Tuesday, May 20 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's the live sectoral presentation by the Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, the Honourable Daryl. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, fueling growth everywhere.
I must take a moment to sincerely thank those who support this mission every single day. Madam Speaker, today, May 20th, I selected for my sectoral presentation has added significance. Today is my late father, Douglas Vaz's birthday. He would have been 87 years old. A man who served his country as a freedom fighter and a then Member of Parliament and Cabinet Minister, Member of Parliament from 76 to 93, and a Cabinet Minister during the 80s. A true patriot who inspired me to follow his footsteps. Hence, like him, so far, I'm a four-term consecutive MP in one constituency over the last 18 years, and a Minister of Government for 13 years. So I say happy birthday, Dad. And I made mention of the consecutive MP because I see a trait and a routine that's happening now where persons don't stay one place. They move around quite frequently all across the country trying to find a safe seat. To my dear wife, Anne-Marie, who I would dare say is not even more than a wife, one of the best performing members of Parliament in Jamaica. What she has done in 6 years in Eastern Portland is unprecedented, and shortly we will see and reap the rewards of our hard work. My children who are here, my grandchildren, 4 of them so far, my family and my friends, your unwavering love and support fuel my commitment to public service. Thank you for your patience, your sacrifices, and constant encouragement. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, for entrusting me with the responsibility of leading this super ministry. My State Minister, Honorable J.C. Hutchinson, for his continuous support, my Cabinet colleagues, heads of agencies across all 4 sectors of the ministry. Your leadership, collaboration, and shared commitment have helped us better serve the people of Jamaica and deliver tangible results. To the leadership and the staff of the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, thank you for your tireless efforts and work. I especially wish to recognize Permanent Secretary Mrs. Carol Palmer, whose steady hand and principled leadership continue to guide us. To our senior managers, technical experts, administrative staff, your dedication is the engine behind our progress. I commend you all for the service that you continue to give to our nation. Express my sincere thanks to our board members, my advisors, whose expertise and counsel have been invaluable, shaping the strategies and successes I will share today. To my close protection officers, thank you for your steadfast support and professionalism, which allows me to fulfill my duties both as a minister and a member of Parliament. I'm deeply grateful for the sacrifices that you make for me and my family. To the people of West Portland who have entrusted me with the honor of representing you, again, I say thank you, because without you, there would be no me. And it is always important to understand how it works. If you don't be successful at the constituency level, then obviously your chances of being a minister are not very much. And therefore I say to them, thank you for your continued support, and I am proud to serve you. Madam Speaker, we have lost dear colleagues along the way over the last few months. Just to mention two, the first, Mr. Ransford Harvey, a member of the ministry security team, who served in his capacity for almost 30 years. He was diligent in his duties and appreciated and respected by all who came in contact with him. The other, confidant and my executive assistant, Ms. Patricia Reed. Pat was more than an executive assistant. She was a cherished member of our team, loyal, hardworking, and deeply committed to our mission. Her absence is deeply felt, and I again extend my condolences to her, family, friends, and all who had the privilege of working with her. May her legacy of service inspire us all. And today, you will see how well-groomed I am, Mr. Speaker. Got a haircut this morning, wearing a new suit, yes. Wearing my Jamaica tie, yes. Because I know that she's watching over me. And if I didn't do this, then she would not be happy where she is today. She is irreplaceable. As I now begin my sectoral presentation, let us remain focused on the work ahead, advancing policies and initiatives that strengthen our economy, improve public service delivery, and transform lives for the better. The theme of today's presentation is Innovating for a Sustainable Future, Advancing Science, Energy, Telecommunications, and Transport. Mr. Speaker, throughout the fiscal year, the four key sectors under my portfolio, science, energy, telecommunications, and transport, have made substantial strides. Yes. Madam Speaker, in a bold move to modernize governance, the ministry, through e-learning, Jamaica, will today hand over 63 tablets, one for each member of parliament and constituency. This is a strategic leap towards digital leadership, putting real-time information and powerful tools directly in the hands of our lawmakers. This is the important part, Madam Speaker, because I'm sure that everybody has their own tablet and laptop. And I recall in recent years, since becoming minister, I did hand out laptops already. Each device is preloaded with the access to all government ministries, departments, and agencies, along with the essential apps to help serve MPs better serve their constituents and deliver government benefits. Notably, it also has my full sectoral presentation to Parliament, ensuring that every MP has immediate access to the ministry's vision, priorities, and policy direction. Amen. Mr. Speaker, the days of printing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of pages for each sitting of the House has long passed. And as we embrace the digital transformation taking place across government ministries, agencies, and departments, the House must follow suit and not be left behind. Yeah. This is a win for every Jamaican, a clear signal of our commitment to transparency, accessibility, and a digitally connected future. No one will be left unaware of the benefits the government of Jamaica provides. So, Madam Speaker, it will allow MPs' constituencies to be able, at the tap of a button, to be able to access all government information and agencies as well, ministries and agencies, which will assist them in helping their constituents to answer questions and also provide possible jobs, etc. Madam Speaker, MSET is leading a science-driven transformation starting at the earliest levels. In partnership with the Early Childhood Commission, the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, the Scientific Research Council, and the National Commission on Science and Technology, we have launched a pilot initiative that integrates scientific principles into the early childhood education for children aged 2 to 8 years old. This nurturing early scientific thinking, NEST, This program will equip educators with STEM kits and low-cost activity books to make science fun, simple, and engaging in the classrooms. Madam Speaker, the next generation won't shy away from science. They will continue to embrace it as a powerful tool to transform Jamaica and shape the world with their bold innovations. Madam Speaker, our focus does not stop at the early childhood level. Through the SRC, over 1,900 students participated in the Young Inventors and Innovators competition. Over 1,400 students were engaged in science in the park, and 101 STEM ambassadors are now mentoring young Jamaicans. Madam Speaker, we're not just teaching science, we're building confidence, ambition, and dreams. Hear, hear. Madam Speaker, Jamaica is the first small island developing state in the Caribbean to complete the GoSpin Global Observatory of Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy Instruments. Policies mapping exercise with UNESCO. This work will be published on UNESCO's website in 2025, placing Jamaica on the global science policy map. As a result, we now have the tools to systematically improve our science, technology, and innovation landscape by implementing targeted interventions that will improve our science, technology, and innovation index. Together with our updated National Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy, we are showing that Jamaica is ready to lead and not follow. Mr. Speaker, we are leading. In the previous financial year, SRI helped several small businesses improve compliance and turn ideas into income. Over 15,950 analytical tests were conducted, which supported food and water safety for 160 MSMEs, ensuring compliance with national and international regulations. 43 new commercially viable food products were developed for local entrepreneurs, enabling them to expand their market both locally and international. Over 250 nutrition labels were created to ensure safe and accurate consumer information. 150 people were trained in personal care product development, and with a new personal care manufacturing facility now operational, more cost-effective manufacturing solutions will be enabled. Science is not abstract, it is real practical support for MSMEs. Last, Mr. Speaker, science is for everyone, and we are proving just that, with workshops in soap jam making, hosted in collaboration with the Lister Mayor Gilby High School for the Deaf, providing expanded opportunities for hearing impaired students, and tissue culture pineapple farming workshops for the St. Catherine Bee Farm Association to promote economic and self-sufficiency. Excellent. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, there's many more, but I will move on to the NCST. As we continue our push to facilitate innovation, the National Commission on Science and Technology is advancing nutraceutical regulation for health and industry growth through the Ministry of Health and Wellness, while continuing to host STEM mentorship programs connecting students with global experts. This financial year, we will continue to deepen our impact by upgrading laboratory facilities, expanding research and development with new studies in biotechnology, renewable energy, and sustainable agriculture, which will support national priorities. Scaling STEM education and outreach. We're also building a future-ready nation equipped to compete, innovate, and thrive on the world stage. Madam Speaker, I will now move to the energy portfolio. On the matter of Jamaica's renewable energy development ranking, Jamaica rose 8 places on the Climate Scope Index by Bloomberg NEF in 2024, moving from 47th to 39th among 105 countries. According to the report, Mr. Speaker, with a power score of 2.04, the power score of Jamaica is better than the regional average of 1.93 in Latin America. Climate Scope is a global ranking of emerging markets based on their attractiveness for clean energy investment, and our advancement reflects Jamaica's strong legislative framework, robust regulations, and well-defined targets and incentives. As a government, we are strategically advancing towards our 2030 goal of generating 50% of Jamaica's electricity from renewable sources through targeted investments, policy reforms, and infrastructure development. As of May 2025, we have achieved 12.5%, with an additional 100 megawatts set to come on stream in 25-26, representing 4.5%, therefore bringing the total to 17%. Subsequently, in addition, an additional 220 megawatts will go to the market in 2025 to come on stream in 27-28, which will represent an added 10%, therefore bringing the total to 27%. Madam Speaker, the JPS is expected to add 130 megawatts in 27-28 financial year, and this 6% will bring the total to 33% by 2028. Finally, the generation procurement entity will go back to the market for 300 megawatts, and that will take on stream the additional 23% to round off to 50%. We are on track, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, and colleagues. Mr. Speaker, we have also pursued policy measures to improve energy storage capacity. CARICOM's Council for the Trade and Economic Development, COTED, approved Jamaica's request to suspend the common external tax on 91,600 lithium-ion batteries, valued at 1.5 billion Jamaican dollars, or $9.7 million for 2 years, starting February 2025. This 20% duty exemption followed extensive stakeholder consultations with the government of Barbados and a verification site visit to the Barbadian company that currently produces lithium-ion batteries. Madam Speaker, as of January 1st, 2014, importers began benefiting from duty-free access to select renewable energy and energy-efficient technologies, including compact fluorescent lamps, advanced air-conditioned cooling systems, solar mounting accessories, and rechargeable batteries. This arrangement, approved under Article 83(3) of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas at the 57th meeting of COTED in November 23, continues through to December 2025. Let me emphasize, Mr. Speaker, that these duty exemptions remain unaffected by recent U.S. trade adjustments. However, under the revised Caribbean Basin Economic Recovery Act, which once provided a non-reciprocal export duty waiver, Jamaica must now operate at 10% of the value of the exported finished products. Petrojam is currently assessing the implications for our most favored nation status, while the ministry monitors solar imports from China for price fluctuations. Despite the impacts of Hurricane Beryl, Jamaica's clean energy infrastructure showed resilience. In 2024, solar and hydropower plants generated 11% and 7% more energy, respectively, adding 21,209 megawatt hours to the grid and helping to offset reduced outputs from the wind farm, natural gas, and petroleum fuel plants. In response to the rising demand for renewable self-generation, the ministry updated its procedures for electricity net billing regulations to better align with the 2022 regulations. In 2024, 60 licenses were issued, totaling 0.8 megawatts of capacity. In total, Jamaica now boasts 1,239 licenses for households and businesses, representing 26.1 megawatts of distributed solar capacity, up from 1,179 licenses, with 25.3 megawatts in 2023. Madam Speaker, as I stated in my update on the 9th of April 2025, it is very clear Jamaica has not been well served by its electricity industry. The arrangements put in place by the previous administration, the Jamaica Public Service License in 2001, and the Electricity Act in 2015 are deeply flawed. And this government is now taking hard decisions to correct the failures of the opposite. Let me say clearly that I had indicated earlier that my friend and colleague was the one who had negotiated and signed, and he rebutted by telling me that he was a part of the administration that signed, but he was not the minister. So I apologize, but it's still a bad deal. I wonder who that was. I wonder who that was. Yeah, you remember? Remember? You can't recall. On the license, as I have said in the House previously, the global and economic situation has changed substantially since 2001, and we agree on that. Therefore, the license terms, which were renewed in 2015, were not suitable then and are even less suitable now. We agree on that. Yes. As a stark example of this, and one that was felt by every single Jamaican, was the failure of JPS in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl. The delays in restoring power and the missed deadlines were unacceptable. A situation where, as minister, I had to intervene on behalf of the government to hold the JPS to account. More broadly, under this license, electricity prices remain among the highest in the region. We agree on that. This is intolerable, both for family budgets and our critical private sector, limiting the creation of jobs and economic prosperity. All because for too long we have been locked into this legacy agreement which does not work for a modern Jamaica. However, I am pleased to say, for the first time since 2015, this minister and this government has the opportunity to deliver real change. Change for the benefit of Jamaica and Jamaicans. I can assure you that we will do whatever it takes to do that. Whether it be through a newly negotiated license with the JPS or entirely new arrangements, we will not rest until we have an electricity sector our population and country deserves. So I won't say any more on that at this time, but to indicate that all options are on the table. All options are going to be reviewed, and Jamaica finally is going to benefit from the right negotiation by the right minister and the right government. The changes we will make to the license arrangements cannot be considered in isolation. JPS have done what they can do to manage a system with the constraints of a regulatory framework which is not suitable for a modern energy and electricity system. I thank their shareholders both for this and for their continuing to invest in Jamaica. However, the framework within which this license operates need to adapt. It doesn't provide the right incentives, and it is failing the Jamaican people. The world has changed, technology has changed, and our expectations for energy provisions have changed. We cannot and will not continue with our electricity system which has such high costs, and we cannot continue with a system where 30% of the power is stolen. That is unacceptable. This is why the work of the Joint Select Committee, which I chair, and who are tasked with reviewing the Act, is so critical. We have consulted widely, encouraging participation from the public and industry alike, reviewing every aspect of the Act, strengthening our response to natural disasters, to options for reducing theft and losses, to considering competition where appropriate and regulation where it is not. Implementation of changes to the Act will be carried out in conjunction with changes to the license regime to ensure a holistic view is taken across the sector. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, it will not be easy, and the benefits will not come immediately. It will take time. Everybody must do their bit. We will shortly come forward with our plans, specifically in relation to the license. We, unlike our predecessors, will not miss the opportunity to reset the electricity sector for the benefit of the entire population. Again, I want to assure that as we did in the joint select, we had massive consultations from stakeholders and everybody. That has started through the consultant who is assisting us in the renegotiation for the license, and I commit not only to my opposition colleague and the opposition, that they will be brought to the table, as well as all who is listening who has an interest in the sector, because we are an inclusive government. But I would say that I'm not really in a rush to get to the opposition yet, because based on your antecedents and your performance with the first two licenses, I don't know what you would bring to the table now to assist me. I am sure that if something intervenes, on a particular date intervenes, that the people will choose Jamaica. Madam Speaker, I now turn to provide an update and offer clarification of Jamaica's house wiring and inspection program, a vital initiative aimed at improving household safety and expanding access to electricity for our most vulnerable citizens. Following a meeting held on April 22nd involving MSET, JSIF, and the Jamaica Public Service, a number of operational matters were raised ahead of the scheduled implementation date of May 1st. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to correspondence received from JPS, I wish to clarify a specific reference made in Ministry Paper 09/25 for 25-26 fiscal year. The paper currently states that the new prepaid electricity customers will be eligible for the credit facility during the 6 months immediately following the effective date of the policy. Importantly, the provision that the credit facility will terminate 11 months after the effective date remains unchanged. This means that a customer who becomes eligible in September 25, the final month of the 5th month window, will still receive the full six-month credit benefit extended through to April 2026. I'm going to repeat that, just for clarity and to make sure that my colleagues on the other side understand it, so when they speak to it, we are speaking on the same page. Yeah, you hear, Fitz? You just come, you're late.
Come on time.
Let me say again. The paper currently states that the new prepaid electricity customers will be eligible for the credit facility during the 6 months immediately following the effective date of the policy. Importantly, the provision that the credit facility will terminate 11 months after the effective date remains unchanged. This means that a customer who becomes eligible in September 25, the final month of the 5-month window, will receive the full 6-month credit benefit extending through to April 2026. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, I must clarify the matter of program targets. The facility will support a maximum of 20,000 new prepaid customers. However, only those onboarded within the 5-month eligibility period between May and September will be accommodated. This approach ensures that the integrity of the program is maintained and aligned with the fiscal constraints. It is also important to note that the budget allocated for this initiative pertains specifically to 25-26 fiscal year. Mr. Speaker, JPS has also taken the position that the prepaid credit is non-transferable. The credit will be assigned specifically to both the approved customer and the wired and certified premises. Should a customer relocate during the 6-month credit period, the remaining credit will be forfeited. Similarly, any new occupant of the vacated premises will not be eligible to claim the remaining benefit. Mr. Speaker, the House Wiring and Inspection Program is a meaningful step towards greater equity and access to the energy sector. These clarifications are important to ensure that the program is implemented efficiently, transparently, and in keeping with the objectives of social inclusion and responsible public financial management. Mr. Speaker, in 2024, Cabinet approved the National Electricity Loss Reduction Plan 24 to 34. Over the past 20 years, persistent losses have threatened grid stability and economic competitiveness. To combat this, JPS will invest $13.2 billion or 84 million US dollars over a 10-year period to improve its technical and commercial operations. Government oversight will include stricter regulations, penalties, public outreach, and training with the goal of reducing losses and renewing the system. The ministry remains on course and committed to advancing a modern, secure, and sustainable Jamaica. Mr. Speaker, we have laid the groundwork for greater resilience, lower cost, and enhanced energy independence. Mr. Speaker, from January to December 2024, the government through Petrojam supplied 11.1 million barrels of petroleum products to both local and export market. This volume was achieved through a combination of refining and imported finished petroleum products. Crude oil was also sourced from key partners, including Barbados, Brazil, Colombia, and Ecuador, ensuring a diversified and stable supply chain. From 2024, Petrojam exported 4.5 million barrels of petroleum products, generating over 500 million US in export earnings, a landmark achievement in this regard. Mr. Speaker, is a new contract to supply Trinidad and Tobago with both high sulfur and very low sulfur fuel oil. This deal is expected to yield $14 billion Jamaican in export earnings, further strengthening Jamaica's energy trade position in the region. Despite some challenges, Petrojam continues to make a strong contribution to national revenue. The necessary steps will be assured to ensure that this continues. Over the next 3 to 5 years, Petrom will focus on optimizing its existing operations while advancing cleaner energy solutions. Key elements of this strategy include production and supply of ultra-low sulfur diesel, expanding access to environmentally friendly fuels, strengthening LNG supply to support energy diversification, advancing Jamaica's climate change agenda by implementing a comprehensive environmental, social, and governance program, driving the installation of solar systems, enhancing energy efficiency in refining operations, and increase the production of sustainable biofuels. Petrojam, Mr. Speaker, is progressing with its project to install facilities that will convert heavy fuel oil into asphalt, increasing monthly output from 4,000 barrels to 19,000 barrels. This project is scheduled for completion in the first quarter of 25-26, ensuring greater domestic availability and export potential. Petrojam aims to refine 8.2 million barrels of crude oil to meet domestic and export sale targets. The remaining supply will be supplemented by imported petroleum products and blend stock to ensure a stable and competitive energy market. In relation to oil and gas, Madam Speaker, in March 25, the production sharing agreement with United Oil and Gas was extended to January 2028 with an updated work program items for the agreement. The extension allows United Gas and Oil to continue de-risking the offshore prospects and continue their search for an exploration partner with the aim of drilling exploration wells with the drill or drop decision now due by January 2028. Again, I know that this matter has come out in the public domain several times, and the information that has come out is not accurate information. So I would just caution everybody to say that if and when we reap success, you will be the first to hear about it through the ministry. Move on to telecommunications. Madam Speaker, telecommunications sector plays a strategic role in bridging the digital divide, enhancing national digital infrastructure, and driving the transition to an inclusive, knowledge-based economy. Through agencies such as eLearning Jamaica Limited and the Universal Service Fund, this administration has invested no less than $5 billion in the past 4 years in providing Jamaicans across the length and breadth of Jamaica with improved access to technology. $5 billion in 4 years. As eLearning Jamaica proudly celebrates its 20th anniversary, we salute the agency for its commitment of integrating technology into the educational landscape. In the last financial year alone, and I would like everybody to listen to this, the last financial year of eLearning Jamaica, eLearning provided over 11,000 laptops and customized desktop computers for special needs students, as well as 1,100 projectors valued at $874 million, and deliveries continue. They did 800 interactive panels to over 700 institutions. Procured 400 charging cards valued at $73 million for the distribution to educational institutions to enhance device accessibility and mobility. Listen to this, leader of opposition. Provided 2,700 teachers. Provided 2,700 teachers with laptops under the Own Your Own Device program. Bring in the total number of beneficiaries under this program to 26,000 educators at a cost of 2.3 billion Jamaican dollars. 26,000 educators received at a cost of $2.3 billion under your own device. So 2,700 teachers, 26,000 educators. Madam Speaker, through the eLearning Jamaica, the Jamaica Library Service received 400 laptops valued at 24 million Jamaican dollars to be used as part of digitization of libraries island-wide. The Early Childhood Commission was provided with 40 laptops, 2.4 million Jamaican dollars to enhance service delivery to their stakeholders. 200 laptops valued at 12 million Jamaican dollars provided to lecturers at UTEC for research and course delivery. 300 devices valued at $18 million were distributed to the Holy Trinity and Newell High Schools to improve literacy and numeracy for grade 7 students. And 50 devices valued at $2 million were donated to the Women's Crisis Center to support teen mothers to continue their education. The Universal Service Fund, through its Connect a Child and ICT device for individuals and organizations in need programs, supported eLearning Jamaica's activities by distributing 630 tablets valued at $20.8 million to students from low-income families to support their equal access to educational opportunities. 58. If you came to Parliament, more of you would know. If you came to Parliament, more of you would know. And if they listen more in Parliament, they could tell you. That's why I get, you know something, on a serious note. Those tablets that I gave out today has downloaded every ministry and agency's website and apps, etc., that you can press a button after I leave here today, and you can research all of this, and hopefully it will benefit all our constituents on both sides in short order. 58 ICT devices to needy citizens across Jamaica at a cost of $10.5. ICT devices, 58 of them valued at $7 million to organizations to enhance their technological capabilities. In addition, Mr. Speaker, 10 schools received coding and robotic kits to support STEM development activities, as well as training in artificial intelligence to enhance technological capabilities within educational institutions. Excellent. And the University of West Indies received a state-of-the-art training facility to equip educators being trained via a school of education with the knowledge, skills, and tools needed to integrate new emerging technologies effectively in classroom instruction. Dubbed the Ignite Hub, that is innovate growth in the next generation instruction and technology education. The facility boasts advanced technology, virtual reality headsets to allow teachers to simulate real-life classroom scenarios, enhancing interactive learning strategies, motion tracking cameras to enable seamless hybrid learning, allowing lecturers to move freely while being tracked, interactive panels, AI-powered teaching assistants, adaptive learning platforms, and multimedia content creation software to support hands-on training. That is what happened before. For the upcoming financial year, e-learning will continue its work. Distribution of over 4,000 additional technological devices across all levels of public education sector, including special needs schools. Expansion of STEAM capacity building programs, including robotics, artificial intelligence, data protection, and coding workshops. Through the Universal Service Fund, 100% of the major townships across Jamaica have been outfitted with public Wi-Fi through the Connect Jamaica public Wi-Fi program, with 5 new public Wi-Fi hotspots being deployed.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, the members' time for speaking having expired, and in tradition as to how we offer additional speaking time, I beg to move that his time be increased by 15 minutes to allow him to conclude his presentation. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
The desired request for the extension of time for the member presenting. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Minister, before you start, you have requested 15 minutes. We urge that you use 15 minutes. Thank you.
So, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to take up too much time, but when you look at the size of my portfolio and the good things that are happening, it would be a travesty to cut out this and not let the Jamaican people know what is happening. I ask you to use your conscience, sir, if you have one. Thank you very much, colleagues, for that. So, Madam Speaker, through Universal Service Fund, as I said, 100% of major townships have been connected to the public Wi-Fi. For 25 new public Wi-Fi hotspots, Halfway Tree, Papine, Mandeville, Waterfront in Kingston and Crossroads, those are on track and were completed in 2024-25 financial year. These activities are complemented by the Community Wi-Fi program, which was launched in 2020, whereby 350 community Wi-Fi hotspots valued at $1.2 billion have been successfully installed across all 63 constituencies, serving 235,000 active users across the island, and the numbers continue to grow. The 5th community Wi-Fi hotspot was installed in each of the 63 constituencies at the end of the 24-25. This means, Madam Speaker, that citizens across the length and breadth of Jamaica are not too far away from publicly provided Wi-Fi. This means that the digital divide is closing slowly but surely. We are not stopping there as we continue to allocate $1 billion each year to invest in the government's national broadband infrastructure. The government is delivering on its promise of a better Jamaica, commitment made, commitment fulfilled. However, it is not just about investing in technology. The people of Jamaica, and particularly the youth, are at the heart of what we do. For this reason, the Universal Service Fund continued its investment in Technology Advancement Program, the TAP program. The investment worth $210 million Jamaican dollars was executed in collaboration with the Amber Group and the Heart NSTA Trust, and saw a cohort 23-24 of the program graduating 236 unattached youth between the ages of 18 and 35 with ICT skills. They worked with the educational institutions to establish 30 ICT clubs in schools and host the second ICT Club Conference. Hosted a 4-week Crack the Code coding competition during the Youth and Technology Month for kids aged 12 to 21 to encourage digital skill development, and awarded 12 full scholarships valued at $13 million to support high-achieving students pursuing ICT undergraduate degrees at UE, UTech, and UCC for the 24-25 academic year. Through these strategic initiatives, the government, through the Universal Service Fund, continues to drive digital inclusion, ensuring accessible, sustainable, and transformative ICT solutions for all Jamaicans as we strive to be a better Jamaica. Again, commitment made, commitment fulfilled. The Spectrum Management Authority responded to Jamaica's growing communications, fulfilling its mandate by issuing 212 new spectrum licenses, surpassing the KPI of 184. Renewed 547 licenses, exceeded the target of 481, successfully completing the public call for application for licenses in the 600 megahertz band, securing a potential $24 million in spectrum fees, US dollars, resolving 8 interference cases, ensuring the continued safety of aeronautical communication, and conducting frequency and modulation audits island-wide. In 25-26, they'll continue the modernization of the radar monitoring and direction find system to improve efficiency, integration of AI and data mining for enhanced spectrum monitoring, establish strategic spectrum monitoring stations in key areas, including airports and airdromes, strengthen evidence-based policy framework to support Jamaica's transition to an advanced wireless infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, Hurricane Beryl taught us some valuable lessons. An important one is the vulnerability of our communication infrastructure and its interdependence on other utilities. Last year I was hard on our telecommunications service providers and even on the Office of the Utilities Regulation, but only because, like all my colleagues here, I want the best for the country. Mr. Speaker, some promises are easy to keep, others require grit and hard work to see them to fruition. For this hurricane season and beyond, a more agile and robust response is anticipated. Our major telecommunication providers have promised to up their game by moving more equipment on island once an announcement of an impending hurricane is made, to invest in additional generators and solar technology to decrease dependency on a single source of energy and a greater uptime for all cell sites. Telecommunication providers and JPS have indicated that there will be even greater collaboration and coordination going forward in preparing and responding to ensuring swift recovery after natural disasters. I was advised that as of the 31st of March, an inter-utility hurricane simulation exercise was organized by the JPS with key stakeholders in the telecommunication industry and stakeholders involved with disaster preparedness and emergency management. Mr. Speaker, I think we will definitely see much improvement. We are hoping and praying that we don't have a weather event, but we will, because I'm sure that they don't want to face me for a second year, because this time I'll be coming bigger, badder, and harder. Mr. Speaker, I could not speak here today without addressing two things. First is theft and vandalism for our telecommunications service providers, which they complain about the additional costs imposed on their businesses because of theft and vandalism of telecommunication infrastructure. Earlier this year, operators were faced with a bill of more than $200,000 through one act of vandalism, while the current penalties in law for these nefarious actions are a mere fraction of the cost. But today, Madam Speaker, laid on the table of the House is another commitment fulfilled as the Law Reform Amendment of Penalties Act, which was tabled today in the House, promises a significant increase in the penalties under the Telecommunications Act for trespassing, meddling, interfering, or tampering with any telecommunications facility. We are waging the war on serious crimes and wanton criminality, and we are winning. And we intend to do the same here with theft and vandalism of equipment. The government promised a better Jamaica. Again, commitment made, commitment fulfilled. Let me close by just giving you a brief update. The status of the third domestic mobile telecommunication provider. I had a meeting last week with the EU ambassador and the European banks, and I was heartened that they could give me a confirmation that a recommendation will go to the board of the bank for the funding for the third telecom provider, which Rock Mobile. They have gotten several extensions because of not being able to roll out COVID and other factors. And we have been very sympathetic because we understand the landscape. But this is the first time that I can stand here in Parliament and indicate that I was given the assurance, and I'm expecting to get a letter stating that in short order once the bank, the approval of the board, but the recommendation is there. So we look forward to that, because that also will do big things in terms of improving service in unserved areas, and of course giving options to consumers in the near future. So I don't want to preempt, but I think it's important that the country knows, and I look forward to updating you. Mr. Speaker, I'm closing on the last portfolio responsibility. I saved the best for last. And that is one that makes my heart full, and that is transportation. Let me start with the rural school bus program. Children in rural Jamaica, and every member of Parliament represents a rural constituency, and those who represent an urban constituency, know that every morning when the school children finally get to the bus stop, coming from deep interior areas, using all forms of transportation to get there, the first thing that they are met with, a cry across the taxi stand or the bus park: no schoolers, no schoolers, no schoolers. Why is that, Mr. Speaker? Because the transport operators want to make maximum, and therefore they want to take the adults that pay the higher fare. This is something that has plagued Jamaica forever. These are harsh words that greet all the children across Jamaica every morning and every afternoon. This back to school September morning, yes, I am going to ensure that the shout that is going to greet them at the taxi stand and the bus stand, schoolers only. Yes. Schoolers only. A dedicated rural transportation system that speaks to the safe, economic, convenient transportation for school children. What a day that this will be. What a day for all of us. Because, let me make it clear, when the school bus pull up, nobody not asking what them support, what party them parents support, because them can't vote. It is going to be non-partisan. It is going to be operated and driven by data from the Ministry of Education, and the JUTC does the operational side of it. But I will get to that. It's not about only a dedicated school bus. What comes with the school bus? An automated fare collection system that will provide safe, efficient, convenient, and hassle-free payment for students. No cash. You swipe your card just like when you tap a phone card, whatever. A driver monitoring system that allows for driver monitoring via infrared, because we have to make sure that the children are being driven by a competent, safe driver. That driver will be trained by the JUTC and the Heart Trust NSA, and will have to undergo a police clearance to make sure that they have no history or record. A geofencing of the routes. An established system will provide an alert if there's any deviation of the bus from the assigned route. Speed control. The system will be able to monitor the speed and alert the ministry and JUTC if it crosses the threshold. So if you want to call it a speed sensor, you can call it that. A seamless parental control. Parents and the schools will get access to a user-friendly parental portal via an app that provides bus schedules, routes, and real-time tracking information, allowing parents to plan and monitor their child's transportation to and from school. More importantly, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, and all of Jamaica, every morning that a parent sends a child to school, they pray from the time they walk out to the time they get back in. Because there are so much challenges that they are going to face all through that day. That when they come home, it is a sigh of relief. For that, we are going to have an attendance tracking, which will track students' attendance on the buses, maintaining accurate records and accountability to ensure that no students are left behind or misplaced during transit. Too many children have died on our roads from school in passenger public. Well, I know I'm going to get the time. Oh, no.
Minister, I know you said that you're wrapping up, but you're still presenting. We are going to give you 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What I will do, based on my experience today, is next year, when I'm back here, I'm going to start with transport. I'll leave the rest. Madam Speaker, too many children have died on their way to school and from school in public passenger vehicles. Additionally, they are harassed, preyed on, endangered, and many have been subjected to lap up in buses or be left on the road while seeking transportation to and from schools. This government, under the leadership of Dr. Andrew Michael Honis, will be rolling out phase 2 of the dedicated rural school bus system to minimize the misery index of our rural students and parents and enhance their safety during daily commute. The continued rollout is scheduled for the start of the 25 September school year, and will see dedicated school buses being provided to approximately 258 of the 850 rural schools, which is just about 30% of the rural population. A drop in the bucket, Mr. Speaker, but we are on a mission. I want to pause here to say that without the collaboration and joined-up government approach of the Ministry of Education, starting with the Minister of Education, the Permanent Secretary, and the Director of Safety, Richard Troop, this would not be possible. They have given us the data, and they are working with us assiduously to make this a reality. So phase 1 will be 60 buses deployed in September 25, and the other 40 by January school morning 2026. But you know, everybody talk and say, boy, announcements are great and grander. Everybody in Jamaica and everybody in this house know that I don't do that. If I tell you something will happen, it's on train. And I can tell you that up to today, before I left to come to Parliament, we were in discussions with PPC to amend the submission, and we are hoping that we will get the go-ahead to be able to go to Cabinet as early as Monday, to be able to get the buses here, to be able to start to do what needs to be done to them so that they will be ready for September morning. It's not about buying the buses. That's the easy part. It's about making sure they are refurbished, retrofitted, and they are outfitted with the technology. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to make it abundantly clear. The government is not competing with rural taxi operators. We are making it easier, safe, and more secure for our students to be transported. This well-being is no competition, Mr. Speaker. We must simply safeguard our future. The buses provided will be only for students. They will not carry other passengers. Therefore, it is not a threat to the economic livelihood of transport operators. There is more than enough why the kids can't get a bus, a transport in the morning. But this is the most important part, Mr. Speaker, for me. And that is the savings. The savings, Madam Speaker, will be subsidized, Mr. Speaker. And currently, the JUTC has a subsidized student fare, which is between $30 and $50 for students, depending on the trip. This is going to be extended to rural Jamaica, which means that the current fare for each student in rural Jamaica, depending on the distance, is between $150 and $300 Jamaican dollars per student per trip. So that would be $300 to $600 per day per student. And we all know that most rural families have more than one child. In some cases, I have the experience of parents coming to me to seek assistance, because if not, they have to decide which one of the children look the brightest and invest the money in that, and the rest of them stay home. I see you looking at me, leader, but it's a fact. You may not know it, I'm telling you. And it happens all across. So in this new dispensation, the fare for a round trip per student will be between 60 Jamaican dollars and $100 per day. You just imagine what that can do in terms of allowing more students to go to school to get the opportunity to get an education. What is going to be even more is that is $6,000, sorry, $3,000 per week in savings. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, that is an 83% reduction. And no politician and no member of parliament and no Jamaican should ever badmine a system that can do this for rural families. So I am calling and making an appeal to leave the politics out of the picnic and business, especially with the election on the night. It is not worth it. Let us work together on this one. So therefore, Madam Speaker, for the school year, the savings can be $60,000 per term by using the rural school bus children. For the school year, that is $180,000 a year. And that gives us 180,000 reasons to ensure, despite whatever people will say about the buses, we will not allow the negativity and pessimism to cause the school bus system to be delayed. And I'm making a call to all of my colleagues here. When you hear it from misguided people, deal with it right away. And you hear them talk about the age of the bus, the mileage of the bus broke down when it not broke down. Yeah? That is simply evil and bad mind. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sorry, I won't advise the parents on how to spend the savings that will come from the rural school bus system. Whether it is to buy a Pro Box or saving for some other aspiration. What is undoubtable is that we are making a tangible impact on the cost of living for rural families across Jamaica that will allow more children to go to school in a safer, more economic way. They deserve it, Mr. Speaker. I don't know how some of them do it, coming from where they are coming from and the distance. So let us agree to accept. The last thing I will say on that is that the regional offices of the Ministry of Education are responsible for routing and the assignment of the buses. I am calling on every member of parliament, because it will affect every parish, to have your own discussions, give your own concerns and your own advice as to what you think is best, to make sure that at the end of the day we have the input from the Ministry of Education, the JUTC, and of course the representatives at the end of the day. You never heard me say a while ago about bad mind. You never heard what I said about bad mind. Why are you wishing brought down?
Minister,
why are you wishing brought down?
Stick to your time.
All right, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to close on the JUTC because I could stay here. What time is it now? I could give you another hour.
Please don't take another hour.
All right, I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you. All right, so, Mr. Speaker, JUTC has taken decisive steps to improve efficiency, ease commuter experience, accessibility, and affordability. All the buses are already on the ship. That means June 25 next month, 100 new buses will arrive and be delivered in Jamaica. It is important to know that 10% of these buses will be specifically made for the disabled community. Yes. Additionally, we have 46 midlife buses, 16 Golden Dragon, 9-meter, what we call hill route, and 30 Volvo articulated buses are being refurbished at a cost of $10 million US dollars respectively. I want to thank Minister Favour Williams and former Minister Clark for these buses. The first 100, Minister Clark, and the second 100, Minister Williams and Minister Clark. We will be in a position to improve the hill routes, which is East Rural St. Andrew, West Rural St. Andrew. Yes. We will be in a position to expand more routes in the JUTC, which we have already done, Morant Bay, Yallas, Maypen, and Old Harbour. Premium peak hour routes have also been added to support workers, students, and general traveling public, not to mention that it will serve the new Morant Bay Urban Centre. The ministry will be adding to this development. 10 schools within the parish of St. Thomas are set to benefit from rural school bus system with the allocation 10 schools with 7 buses. Nice. Yeah, as soon as we share. This.
So many goodies.
So, Mr. Speaker, we also have buses that are being tested. We have electric buses, 6 of them, and we have 1 range extender electric bus which can go up to 1,600 kilometers. So we're looking at how we can improve efficiency. I could not come down on JUTC, Mr. Speaker, without speaking about the savings on fuel at JUTC.
Yes.
We know, Mr. Speaker, the total savings over the 7-month period is over $485 million, which was spent on diesel versus $301 million. So CNN clearly demonstrates a cost advantage of clean fuel technologies. What is more important, we're not only taking steps to reduce operational costs, but in a bid to protect company assets, a joint operation between the JUTC and the JCF have led to multiple arrests and seizures which have resulted in tangible outcomes, such as a significant reduction in fuel deliveries to Spanish Town Depot following the January crackdown. Fuel loads fell from 8 loads, 254,000 litres in December, and 7 loads, 222,000 litres in January, to just 1 load, 31,000 litres in February 25. So imagine, Mr. Speaker, since then, deliveries have stabilized at 4 loads, 127,000 per month in March and April. This is attributed to the disruption of theft operations. So you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars that are being saved, Mr. Speaker. I wrap up now by just indicating aviation, and I'll speak on that and close. Our airports are critical drivers of Jamaica economic growth. Between 25 and 29, 372 million US is earmarked for capital investment, with AAJ's direct investment in 25-26 accounting for 53 million. Additionally, AAJ is investing in critical shoreline protection for Norman Manley with 658 million seawall. The AAJ is actively pursuing several strategic airport projects. Lionel Densham Airdrome at a cost of 2.9 million US, which is at PIAB, Prime Minister, you asked me about it recently. Holland Bamboo Airstrip, reactivation for tourism and regional connectivity. Ken Jones Airdrome assessing expansion potential. And within alignment with the Prime Minister's 23 budget announcement, Tinsupen relocation and the Negril Airport development. $39 million US initial investment, a $460 million investment. A public-private partnership model is being explored to establish an international airport at Little London Westmoreland. Mr. Speaker, I have more to say, but I will say it in another forum, possibly a press conference, because I am not going to open a statement by ministers. Mr. Speaker, in closing, I had no doubt that I was going to run out of time, but I promised those portfolio areas that have not been addressed that I will do a statement by ministers. So, Madam Speaker, as I close, let it be known that the Ministry and Government is not merely charting a course. We are blazing a trail. Yes. We are laying the foundation for a future where every Jamaican has access to power and technology, the security of sustainable energy and science, the promise of seamless connectivity, and the freedom of reliable modern transport. This is not just about infrastructure, it's about impact. It's not just about innovation, it's about inclusion, and it's not just about development. It's about delivering transformation that touches every corner of this country and every life within it. So to the people of Jamaica, I say this government is not waiting for the future to happen. We are building it boldly, deliberately, and together. Madam Speaker, the work continues. The mission is clear: innovating for a sustainable future, advancing science, energy, telecommunications, and transport. I thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to continuing to work for the transformation of this country under the leadership of the Andrew Michael Holness administration.
The Excelsior Community College 5K Run Walk is set to take place on Saturday,